This is the WQA podcast from the Water Quality Association, the leading voice of the water treatment industry. And hello, I'm your host, Wes Bleed.
I believe it's called My Water is Horrible, Now Fix It. And it's an interactive on how do you respond to somebody that is demanding they know what's wrong with their water, and what questions do you ask them, and how do you respond to them?
That's Jennifer Smith talking about the technical education sessions offered at the upcoming WQA Convention and Exposition, March 5th through the 7th in Orlando, Florida. And welcome to the weekly podcast from the Water Quality Association, promoting better water quality around the world. If you're a first-time listener or viewer, welcome. We're glad you're here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a show. That's the magic of podcasting. And be sure to share the podcast with someone on your team. And we now feature these podcasts on YouTube. Go on over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Water Quality Association videos. Check us out. In this episode, we're joined by Jennifer Smith from Resintech. She chairs the Technical Education Task Force. And John McCartan, who is the Training and Program Manager at WQA, and they'll be talking about the technical education sessions available at the convention, the different tracks offered, how you can begin to see those sessions now, take a look and see which ones might be right for you, and then also how you can earn continuing professional development credits by attending those sessions. And we'll have our WQA tip. Now on to my conversation with Jennifer Smith and John McCartan on the WQA podcast. We're going to talk about convention education in this podcast. It's a very important part of the WQA convention and exposition each year. We have a number of sessions that are set up, and to talk about the types of classes or sessions that we have and to describe what's involved, we've got Jennifer Smith from Resintech. She's the residential sales representative at Resintech, and also John McCartan from WQA. John is our training and program manager at the Water Quality Association. So Jennifer and John, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Wes.
Jennifer, you're chairing the technical education, is it a task force or committee? And tell us a little bit about that.
It is a task force, and it's a group of individuals who have obviously volunteered. And we have individuals from the dealership level to, we have couple of sales professionals, and then we also have those who have been in the industry for a million years and are just a wealth of knowledge. So it's really nice to see a wide variety of people that are serving on this task force.
Excellent. And we're talking about the technical education that will be presented. There will also be a business operations track, but we're not really focused on that for this program anyway. But John, tell us about technical education. What does it mean?
Well, Wes, technical education is contrasted best to the business education. There are business-focused topics, great business-focused topics on how you can best run your business. There's all sorts of information on hiring procedures. This is not that. This is the meat and potatoes of our industry. This is how you apply treatment technologies, what treatment technologies are out there, what contaminants we're looking at on the horizon, things like that.
All right. And Jennifer, as you were thinking up topics and trying to figure out what topics to be presented, take us through that process. How did that work?
Well, that is actually a tough process, because coming up with ideas that are going to be at every level of experience is a little tough. So just going to put in a note right now. If anybody has any suggestions for topics in 2025, please reach out to myself, John, Dr. Tanya Lubner, anybody at WQA. But so the process is we start to look at what are the hot topics of this season, I guess you could say, or of the year. and we find those hot topics. Or we also have individuals that will come to us and say, hey, I want to learn more about this. And we'll take those ideas, and then we find somebody who is available to speak on those topics. We also have a call for speakers. And that call for speakers, that's back in, gosh, John, I think it's like in August and September that we have a call for speakers. So if there's somebody that has a topic that they want to share, then we will review all of those submissions and then find ones that are a good fit for the convention.
So it really is a process, and it's a team effort, it sounds like.
Most definitely.
All right. So, John, can you give us a bit of an overview of what's available? What kind of sessions will be presented?
Absolutely. In previous years, we've heard from our attendees that there wasn't enough X-focused education. So sometimes that's, hey, there's not enough introductory topics. I wanted to bring some of my new guys to the show and show them what the industry is all about, but there wasn't really anything that spoke to them. Or, hey, I've been coming to convention for 30 years and I've been in this industry for 40. There's nothing new for me to see. And so the way that we've gone about solving that is we have introductory treatment topics, regular treatment topics, and then advanced treatment topics. And you can browse all of those online at convention.wqa.org, see the full schedule, and look at the tracks, as we call them.
All right. So 3 tracks, sort of that beginner level, that intermediate level, and the advanced level. And so right now, as a matter of fact, if you go online to the convention website and look for the full schedule, you'd be able to see the sessions that are set up, ready to go on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of convention week. And again, that's March 5th through the 7th. And everything's in Orlando, just making sure you understand that. But so one could go through there and just kind of really figure out in advance, Jennifer, what sessions seem like they would be a good fit for you.
Most definitely. We have all day Tuesday, our different sessions. And, sometimes it gets a little tough because you might have 2 sessions that you really want to go and see. But choose the one that is, will fit for you. Another thing that I've heard a lot of people say is they divide and conquer. Mm-hmm. So if there's 2 of you there, one might go to one that's a little bit more intermediate and the other might be a beginner class or a business section. And then Wednesday morning, we have just half a day, just the morning, which is just before the trade show, but we still have amazing classes on Wednesday. Thursday, I believe, is just a general session, but still there's a lot of really good information on that Thursday morning general session. So yeah, there's a lot of great classes that are offered.
John, can you give us maybe 1 or 2, 3 or 4 of the bigger topics that will be covered?
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of running the range of topics here. I wanted to point out an example in an advanced treatment topic. We have a presentation on the thermal destruction of PFAS during full-scale reactivation of granule activated carbon. That's going to be a very interesting presentation. With PFAS, media disposal is a huge issue. We know which technologies can reduce PFAS, but what do you do with that spent media? And that's a great topic if you're interested in that. We've also got a water testing workshop on Tuesday as well. This is in our introductory treatment topics. Part of my responsibility at WQA is I administer our instructor-led training that leads up to our professional certification. And one of the questions that we get in the first class all the time is, how do I test the water? And of course, we cover that in our course, and we cover that in some great detail, but it's the first question most of our learners ask. And Marianne Metzger, also from Resintech, is going to be doing her workshop. It's a great workshop. I definitely recommend people to check that out. You can learn a lot there. And then also under treatment topics, now this is kind of the intermediate, we've got multi-tank progressive systems for residential and commercial applications. Progressive systems are used constantly in commercial and industrial applications. and there hasn't been that much of a demand for them in residential applications. Until recently, it's been shown that we can reduce chloride discharge and increase efficiency using this system. So Vincent Kent is going to come speak to us about that, and that should be a great presentation. Another one that I really wanted to point out is also related to instructor-led classes. Peter Cartwright, who's one of our great instructors and also is on the task force that puts together the schedule, is doing a presentation on debunking reverse osmosis myths. And that is also directly out of the questions that we get. We're constantly having our learners come to us with, hey, we had a customer ask about this WHO study, or we had a customer ask about, is this, removing essential minerals from my diet? And he's going to address all of those as he does in our classes, but in a more condensed format at the convention. I'm really excited about that one.
And Jennifer, the way the classes or the sessions are set up, there is a presenter and PowerPoint slides and all of that, but there is some opportunity to ask questions as well, correct?
Most definitely. We have a couple of classes. As a matter of fact, I am working with Paul Friat in one of those classes. It's going to be interactive, where this one is, I believe it's called My Water is Horrible, Now Fix It. And it's an interactive on how do you respond to somebody that is demanding, they know what's wrong with their water, and what questions do you ask them, and how do you respond to them? But there are a couple, and John had mentioned the one that Marianne is working on. That's going to be an interactive also, where you actually physically get to test the water. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm glad you said that. A lot of fun. I think we sometimes forget that there is a good deal of fun that one can have in these sessions, and obviously then rubbing shoulders and meeting new people and meeting new friends and connections along the way. And also, John, taking care of business. This is an opportunity, is it not, to earn those much needed certification education credits?
Absolutely, Wes. So you get 0.4 credits just for going and visiting the show floor. You don't have to do any more than just walk in and see our great vendors, visit with them, network a little bit, have a few great conversations there. But also during all of these presentations, our technical topics all have credits associated with them. So the hour-long presentations are worth 0.1, which is 1 hour of seat time. The half hours are 0.05. So for those of you that have a WQA certification, whether you be CWS, CWR, or CTD, or certified installer, you can come get your credits there. There's, I think, with the show floor and without doing any of the pre-convention presentations, you can get 1.2 credits, I believe, which you need at most 3 credits every 3 years. So if you're coming to convention, you can get all of your credits there.
That's a great opportunity, and I don't want to understate that or underplay that. Get those certification credits. This is an opportunity that you really want to take advantage of. And then, Jennifer, as we kind of wrap up here, what would you hope somebody would take away from convention education in 2024?
There is always room to learn. It doesn't matter if you've been in the industry for 2 weeks or for 20 years. There's always room to learn. And I think we're going to go back to that. Have fun. Just have fun learning these new things. And the other thing that I think is a wonderful takeaway is you learn from those that you're sitting with in the classes, because you start talking amongst yourselves, and you always learn, whether it's sitting next to somebody during a class or sitting next to somebody at lunch. You're always learning.
Well, Jennifer, thank you. We appreciate all the work that you have put into helping develop the plan, the schedule of these classes. John as well, obviously. And if you're listening, watching this, and you're wondering, hey, is this for me? Again, different tracks: the beginner, the intermediate, the advanced. the education that you need, the ability to connect with others, meet some new friends, make new connections. It's all there at the WQA convention. And so go on over to wqa.org/convention and see more about it and get registered and get signed up. And we look forward to seeing you in Orlando, March 5th through the 7th. And don't forget the pre-convention programming on March 4th, WQA Business Bootcamp, the WQRF Symposium, and the RO Industrial Workshop. So again, thanks to Jennifer Smith and John McCartan. Appreciate it, you guys.
Thanks,
Wes.
And our WQA tip, a reminder of the special pre-convention programming coming up on March 4th, a day before the convention begins in Orlando. We have the WQA Business Bootcamp. We have the WQRF Symposium and the RO Sizing Workshop. All of those taking place one day before the convention begins, March 4th at the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando. Register for these special events when you register for convention at wqa.org/convention. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Learn more and register at wqa.org/convention. And we'll see you in Orlando. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the WQA podcast. From the Water Quality Association, the leading voice of the residential, commercial, and industrial water treatment industry, learn more about professional certification, product certification, and how you can become a member at WQA.org. This is Wes Bleed. So long from the Water Quality Association.